You know that I've been a devoted user of the RC-300. Looping has become a big part of what I do. I like to loop beatboxing, harmonies, ukulele, guitar, keys. This new pedal has a world of capabilities to open up. And I hear there might be some general overwhelm in the looping community so far. I'm here to show you my own pragmatic approach, demystify looping for you so that we can get past some of these learning curves and get to making music. I've used the new 600 for 2 gigs already, and I would like to break down for you some of the general first impression differences between the 300 and the 600. I'll tell you what new things I love about the 600, some of the cool effects that it has. The effects sound good. And then at the end, I'll share with you some opinions I have about the new features that I might have preferred on the 300. For me, pros. Multi-length loops. I had designed a whole system working within the constraints of the RC-300. And if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know, all I would do beforehand was preset the amount of music I wanted on each track. But on the 600, all of your tracks can vary in length. You can dictate manually in the moment how long you want each loop to be. You can also preset the amount of time you want each loop, but you don't have to in the same way that you had to on the 300. Me personally, I like to do a little bit of both. On the 600, I actually like the metal buttons more than I thought I would, because I thought they would be loud, but they have a pretty soft landing after all. Something I didn't predict was the overall sound quality seems to be nicer. I thought I noticed something when I first started playing on it, but it became really obvious when I was playing it on my Twitch channel, and people in the chat were mentioning how the sounds, the patches on my keyboard, the clarity of my guitars, they seemed to come in a little brighter and more present. Quality! It makes sense. The RC-300 came out in 2011. Do you even remember what phones used to look like in 2011? Another feature that I really like is this undo redo button. You could do undo redo on the 300, but what you had to do is you had to hold down the play button until it blinked and then do the same thing to bring it back to life. I had only recently started using this feature on my Twitch channel because sometimes I like to improvise and interact with the chat and bring loops in and take them out. And let me tell you, the undo redo button that just clicks on, clicks off, it's almost like having a 4th track right there in the main default. I can add loops and take them away again in a snap. It's instant. And the newest feature that I think I am the most curious about discovering more about is the effects. The effects sound awesome. I'm gonna show you how to get to these effect settings, and then I'll demonstrate some of my favorites. The effects are super good. They are a little tricky to get to. At first, the way to set the effects is go into the looper here, press the loop button, go to the side. You can assign different input effects to each of these inputs, and you turn them on by twisting the knob. That's an awful lot to do in the heat of the moment when you're trying to play a song. So what happens is you assign them. You can save the presets of those effects by clicking the exit and enter button at the same time. And when you get to this screen, you click the knob associated with writing it. You confirm by pressing enter. And now those effects are saved and you can access them. On the track select button, if you hold it down, it'll take you to this new format where these buttons aren't looping buttons anymore. They're assigned to different effects. So for the sake of this demo, I assigned the first switch to be the harmony switch. I assigned the second switch to be the bass switch. Bass switch. And I had the third button to be that epic delay. Delay, 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 delay. Those 3, love them. So holding your foot down on the track select button to get to this page does make the effects more accessible. However, it's that same thing again where you have to hold down the button and wait. Ooh, ooh, here's an effect. This is the harmony setting, 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 setting. Boom, 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 boom. That's a bass. Everybody now can sing the bass, it's a bass. Yeah. There you go. Some bass with harmony. love this delay. There you go. Some bass. Ooh, harmony. Yeah. It's at some delay. Delay, 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 delay. Whoa, delay, delay. Whoa, we're gonna make a delay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Here are some of the things that might take some getting used to and maybe aren't my favorite about the new pedal. I knew that the stop-start button was going to be in the opposite corner as the 300. And I thought I might not like that. I was so used to having it in the top left-hand corner. I used to have all my main function buttons right here in the corner. When you're looping, time is so important. That much extra travel to get to that button is just a little inconvenient. And maybe this is just the way that I like to configure myself, but I have to kind of turn away from the audience to do it. If I'm wearing a skirt for performing, like I am this way, where it used to be right in front of me, my muscle memory keeps telling me to put my foot there, and I'm messing with the other knobs. I know I just gotta get used to that, but I miss that old button. The effects are super good, but even when you've preset the effects, it still does take a few seconds for the pedal to switch over to that effects mode. And I don't know, for me, I have found it a little bit cumbersome to use this in action because in the middle of a song, sometimes you need a bass right now. But I'm hoping I can find a way to actually make them even more quick. So I'm hoping that I can reassign some of these switches to help me get to my effects faster. Maybe some extra switches to help those be readily accessible at any moment. I don't know, that's just something I'm playing with. I didn't used to use any effects on the RC-300, so I'm kind of having fun playing with it. There's lights above each of these track switches. When the tracks are empty, the lights are all blue. When you start recording, the light turns red. When you overdub, it turns yellow. And when you play back, it's green. It's a pretty good system, except for the difference between the yellow overdub light and the green playback light are way too similar of a color. I have perfect color vision, and even for me, it's a little bit difficult to distinguish, oh, is that yellow? Is that green? And I know quite a few semi-colorblind people that would see no difference at all. So that's a bit quirky. On the 300, I used to do this thing where I could put my foot on the volume knob and I would slowly turn down the volume knob. And these knobs are not as foot friendly. The other thing I liked about the 300 was it was super easy to clear the tracks. And I could do that with my foot too. I would just go bloop. But the 600s are definitely not to be operated with your feet. So I might invest in like a volume pedal or something so that I can still do those fade outs. So if you want to clear the whole channel in one fell swoop, what you have to do to physically bend down and do it with my hand, which is a little trickier when I have a guitar on my tummy. And in that same category, that channel switcher knob is a little bit too close to my first track recording button. So a couple times in the middle of the song, I'll go back to record on track 1 and I'll accidentally bump the channel switcher and it will delete my whole song mid-song. I wish this knob was just a little bit further away from these switches that I need to access quickly. It's just gonna take some getting used to for me. Now, all this being said, I know that there's a bajillion customizable aspects to this pedal. And everyone uses loops very differently. You know, on my last couple of videos, I got some really fun comments of what would happen if I plugged my RC-300 into the 600 and I used them both. Mega pedal, the RC-900. I haven't done it yet, but if you'd like to see it, let me know down below in the comments. I have links down below to all my music gear, my social media accounts. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye! It's my birthday, kinda. And, oh, that's not a loop station, that's a cat. Hi, Cleo. This is the new RC-600. We are having some success. We're making a mess. Oh, that's a good rhyme.